Hey guys, it's your girl Khalilah, and I'm here with the month one, Miss Sheriffa.
Hey.
How you guys doing? Okay, so as usual, we're going to take a few minutes to ask everyone to just, we're about to start the show, and we're going to ask everyone right now, as you're getting on, to please start linking other people, share the link. We know we've got a lot of people from some other teams, so we're just going to throw some music on, and we're going to ask you guys to start sharing the link. So we're so happy to be here. And let's see what we got going over there. Alright, here we go. So we're about to start tonight's show. Oh, there we go. So I gotta do share. Share it with everybody that you know, everybody that you like. So you can share it with your friends right now. Hey guys. Alright, so we are asking everyone that is jumping on to please take them a few minutes with us to share your video, to get online. We're going to have a really good conversation tonight. Tonight we're talking about what it means to have chronic pain, what it means to have some of these illnesses, what it means to have invisible disabilities. So we really want to welcome you tonight. We've got a special thing. Tonight it's live with both of us. So we're asking everyone to please take the next few minutes. If there's somebody that you know, if you've got a family, a friend, an aunt, an uncle, somebody that you know that has, Sheriffa has lupus.
I have lupus, yeah.
I have fibromyalgia. And along my journeys, I've met a lot of people that know of somebody, and we don't get to talk about this conversation very much. So we're going to ask everyone, again, please share on your pages, share on your groups. I know that we've got people coming in from everywhere, so we're just going to ask, just share like. It's 8:05. We're going to start in about the next few minutes. We want to just thank everybody for getting on. We're so thankful that you are here with us today. See how we're doing. All right. We want to thank everybody for coming on right now. We're going to start our conversation very, very soon. Again, you're here with your girl Khalilah and the one Miss Sheriffa. We just want to thank you so much. If you've got any questions or if you've got any concerns that you want to start addressing, you're more than welcome to leave them in the comments. We'll be watching them throughout the show. We're going to definitely have a very dynamic conversation this afternoon, so please share a like as you possibly can. We're going to play a little bit more music for you and keep it going. I'm really glad that you're here. You're actually, you're my first in-person. Everybody's always been kind of
on the other side of the screen.
They've been on the other side of the screen, so this is pretty cool that we're doing this. Me and Miss Sheriffa decided to get together. The closest in the event, so people are definitely. I'm learning a couple of different things when it comes to this stuff. Like, I need to make this public for everybody can see everywhere. Okay, perfect. It's public. I gotta add it to the group. We just want to thank everybody again. We're asking people to get on here, share with us. We love you, everybody that's joining us right now. You guys are awesome. You rock. We want to thank you so much. We're asking you guys right now just to share. Share on your pages, share on your friends' pages, share it wherever you can. We're having a really good conversation tonight, and we want to make sure that everybody gets to participate in this. So we're going to just drop it in the event page right now. I'm going to mute that. Alright, perfect. So we've got it. Let's see what we've got going on here. So hopefully everybody's jumping in on with us. Yeah, we're in the group. Real love. I hope you guys have some real love out there. Alright, so here we go. We just want to thank everybody for joining us today because, you didn't have to be here. We know that we've got a couple of people watching us right now. We just want to say thank you so much for joining us. My name is the one Khalilah Briswell, and beside me is the one
Sheriffa.
Yes, and the two of us are here this evening with you because we've got some really interesting conversations to have with you. And we just want to have what's been really interesting is we definitely want to, where are our comments here? We definitely just want to have some really interesting conversations with regards to what it means to not judge a book by its cover. I guess I'll kind of start, and then we can just kind of go from there, right? The reason why this was a topic that I felt to be very significant was because it's kind of like when you have cancer. You don't think about cancer until it's in your family.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, you have things like, and so I didn't realize what fibromyalgia was. I had known that you were sick, but I didn't know what was going on with you.
It's the same thing as me. I didn't know what lupus was until I got it.
Okay, so we're hearing if you can't hear us well. Can you hear us better now? Is that better? I've got Sadia on there. If you can hear us, send us a link. Otherwise, we'll bring in the camera a little bit closer for you, just so that you can get us in there. Is that better? Yeah. Awesome. Perfect, you guys. So, fibromyalgia wasn't something that I knew about till it actually happened to me. And then it was a very interesting thing because a lot of people who were in my life also didn't know about fibromyalgia until I had it.
You got it, yeah.
But then along in my travels and things like that, I'm finding that more people do know about it. But it's it's an invisible disability, so people automatically think that I look okay. I have a parking permit, accessibility permit, and when people see me get out, like especially like today,
you shouldn't have one.
Why do you have one?
Why do you got it?
But then, when I go to the grocery store, walk around the grocery store and come back home, it's like, yeah, I needed it.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting thing to know that there's a lot of people who look okay on the outside but aren't in the inside.
Right.
And it's not even just a spiritual thing. Like, it's not even just a physical thing, but it's also a spiritual thing. And
yeah.
it's really
I think it's something that affects you mentally, emotionally, physically, like everything.
So we just want to say hi to Thadia. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for Michael Williams. Thank you for joining us. Please share this link along your pages. Share this link in your groups. We're really about to get into some really heavy-duty conversations. So if you know that someone is suffering with an invisible disability, somebody that has chronic pain, chronic illness, let's have a conversation for the next hour about this because we really need to talk about it and we really want to bring some insight to it. One of the things that I was trying to do was, I don't know, I started the fibromyalgia monologues this year. I thought I had the energy.
Typically, yeah. Things work better in your mind than execution. Yeah.
So I've been trying to stay along with it. Sometimes it's hard because you have to find a balance about what you want to post, what you don't want to post.
Right.
I'm in a bit of a situation considering that I have a case going on, so I can't always put everything out there.
Yeah.
But I'm fighting. I'm a fibro fighter, and you're a KISS. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ms. Sheriffa. Tell us, I don't know, this is going to be a really interesting thing because I've never actually, we've had like two kind of conversations, but we never had
really brief.
So when were you diagnosed with lupus? When did you?
So I was diagnosed with lupus March 2012.
Wow, you remember the date?
Distinctly, because it was one of those where I got diagnosed and I was kind of just like, okay, doc, like give me some antibiotics and let's get this thing on a roll and move on with life.
Yeah.
And then they were like, that's not how this thing works.
Okay, so please explain to our audience what lupus is.
So lupus right now, many people know it as an autoimmune disease. Basically, my body will attack itself.
Yay.
So if I get a cold, my immune system will not take care of the cold. It will more attack my main organs. Like, it's just my whole system is affected, and it just kind of kicks the cold to the side, like, I'm not dealing with you right now. So it doesn't recognize my organs as something that should be there.
So it's attacking what's actually supposed to be helping.
Right.
So if you have a cold, like the normal cold for some people might take them down for a few days or a week.
I'm like, could be weeks to even a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, which is why winter is so It's not a very
like if someone's coughing, I'm like, whoa, you know, because when I'm down, I'm down,
yeah.
like, you know. So that's one thing, and then with having lupus, so 2 years after it attacked my kidneys, and now I have kidney failure.
Now you have kidney failure.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that mean in terms of are there any solutions with it, or are they just telling you that you have to manage it?
So right now I just have to manage, like, okay, so what people don't understand is that I'm managing two things. I'm managing lupus and I'm managing kidney failure.
Oh, yay.
Right. So right now, lupus is under control. Thanks the Lord Jesus. It's been like under control for 6 years. So
how do you get it under control?
So what I've done, I've been trying my hardest to eat healthy as I can. Of course, I'm only human, those cravings, you know. But eat as healthy as I can, stay active as I possibly can. Also, your mental plays a big role.
We will get into that conversation in a few.
Yeah, we just leave it there.
We're just starting, so we're kind of like going into it lightly, but we will get into the
But I'm doing what I can for myself. Obviously, I can do better, but it doesn't happen overnight. I'm still trying to get used to this way of life, right?
And how do you manage that? How do you manage lupus? Because you said it's under control, so how do you?
I just do what I gotta do. Honestly.
What does that mean? Like, what does it mean? If someone has no idea what lupus means, like,
right.
What kind? Do you have to take certain treatments? What do you have to?
So me right now, I take medication.
Okay.
So I'm on a steroid called prednisone.
Prednisone.
Yeah. I was on a high dose, but thank the Lord, like it's dropped down, so I'm not taking as much anymore. But it does include like medications and frequent checkups and stuff like that, just to make sure everything's good, blood work, all that stuff. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just before I go into the next question with you, I just want to give a shout out to a couple of new people that have come on board with us. So I just want to say thank you to Paulette Howard for coming on. Kim, good to see you on board with us. Kirk and David, thank you for joining us. I know that David has joined us before. So again, Miss Angela Brown, thank you for coming online. I'm just going to ask you guys to please, we're still just getting into the beginning of this conversation. Please make sure that you are sharing this in as many places as possible. Share this on your Facebook page. Share this with some people. Tell people to get online. This is a conversation that we really don't get a lot to have talk about a lot, and we want to bring some knowledge into it. So, Jamie, I see you. That's my rock star, my accountability partner. Thank you for being there all the way from London. Esma, thank you, and Daniel's on good. So, good evening to you guys. So we're continuing the conversation right now because I have the lovely Miss Sheriffa beside me. And right now we're just exploring what it is that Sheriffa has. And Sheriffa has just finished explaining to us what lupus is. But now, not only does she have lupus, but you also have kidney failure.
Right.
So explain to me what kidney failure is. Explain to me what it means to have your highs and your lows when you're doing this.
So kidney failure, of course, my kidneys don't function as it should, as like a normal person. So for me, that means dialysis 3 times a week for about 4 hours.
3 times a week for 4 hours?
Yeah.
And what is it that your kidney is supposed to do?
So basically, your kidney is supposed to help filter your blood, get rid of toxins, obviously, so that includes like using the bathroom and all that stuff normally. For someone on kidney failure, it happens, but not as it should. So there's some people that can still use the bathroom, okay? Some people that may only have to have dialysis 1 to 2 a week for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So it all just really depends on your end stage where you're at for renal failure.
So with you having to do this 3 times a week, it's fairly funny because I'm so glad that Paulette is on the online with us because his wife Kathy, who is the most lovely person that I've ever met, they're in Chicago, and she has dialysis. Like, she tells me that she's in dialysis. So you're going 3 times a week for 4 hours.
Right.
So does that mean that your body can't do a lot of?
So right now, I'm just waiting for new kidneys. Like, they're not functioning anymore.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're waiting, so you're on the kidney, like this is like
Yeah,
a Grey's Anatomy kind of.
Yeah, like I could get that call and like we rolling in the
If
hospital.
we get that call, we're cutting it short. Okay, people, just letting you know, because I like Sheriffa, so you know
Yeah.
I like the jokes that come out of her, so we'll cut it short.
Yeah, no, I'm waiting for kidneys.
Are you serious?
Mhm.
I didn't know this about you.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this
Don't
question.
judge a book by its cover.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Is this something that you share with a lot of people?
I do when it comes up, but I don't go out of my way to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not like you go around.
I won't be like, hey, how are you? I have kidney failure.
I'm
No.
about to get a new kidney.
Right, no. But if it's a conversation, it's not something that I'm uncomfortable speaking about because I'm comfortable in my own skin. Like, I don't really care what you think about me. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's just,
Okay.
it's me.
Okay. So I'm gonna, there's so much that you brought up just now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna give people a bit of a 411 on me right now
Okay.
because we got into some really good, we'll call it the venting.
Okay.
Because we're having some things, so like I want to get into it, but I want to go back and forth in conversation. So I'm just gonna take a moment to let everyone know what's going on with me.
Okay.
So basically, I've been diagnosed with something called fibromyalgia, which is really what doctors classify you when they can't figure out what's wrong with you.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like how they used to just say everyone's ADD, ADHD, and they're like, whatever, he's hyper.
Yeah.
It's too much sugar. Unfortunately, so last year, actually I think it goes back further than that. In 2009, I had a slip and fall.
Okay.
It took me some time to recover. And then last year in 2017, in January, I was in a car accident. And it took me even longer to recover. And a few months into it, my PT, my physiotherapist, diagnosed me with fibromyalgia, but my family doctor actually wanted to wait because he was still waiting for my body and my muscles to calm down before to actually to diagnose me. And through the year, I've had to see neurologists, physiotherapists, acupuncturists, naturopaths, neurosurgeons,
Everything out there.
like every single thing out there, rheumatologists, because of what's going on with my body. And there's so many different things and so many, it's an up and down thing because on a good day, you see me like this. And on a bad day, if you've been watching the fibromyalgia monologue, I can't get out of bed. There are days where you can't move, you want to move. You're lucky if you can make it to the bathroom because just to move hurts. When I have a relapse, 2 months ago I had a relapse. I'd fallen out of a wheelchair because walking long distances is just like, you guys don't understand. I have never underestimated what it meant to have your energy or to be able to use certain parts of your body or do certain things. Like my rehabilitation, I had to learn how to like walk upstairs again. I had to learn how to I'm not even walking at normal speed, like the energy that it takes. So there's so many different things with fibromyalgia that comes. I have bursitis when it's really difficult for me to move, and it's some really good, not good, but it's really crazy. And
do you have rheumatoid arthritis with that?
No,
Oh,
I'm hoping not.
Okay.
So I'm being very thankful.
Yeah.
Do you?
I do.
Okay. So
Horrible.
it's a list of things, and
Yeah.
it's really difficult because you want to have a life where you're enjoying things, and when everybody's going at that normal speed, you can't keep up.
But then I realized like one thing brings on many other things. And I'm just like, well, hold on, I have two main things, and then when I see, like, you know, when you go to a doctor's office and they ask, like, heart issues or whatever, and arthritis, I'm, like, checking off 5 things, I'm like, what happened?
I want to thank, I'm going to take a moment here just to thank a couple people. My Uncle Gil, I'm so thankful, Uncle, that you're online. Miss Fiona, thank you for joining us. Again, we're just going to take a moment and ask some people to please, if you know family, friends, aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, who's dealing with this, coworkers that's dealing with them, give them a shout right now, share the link with them because we really want to get to this conversation. And what's really funny is this conversation really isn't for us. This conversation is really
to educate you guys.
It's to educate you guys because we have people in our lives that love us. And I'm very thankful that I have people in my life that love me enough to do some of the things that they have done for me. Like, we'll get into it, but I've literally, on days I can't hold my body up, and I've had to have friends bathe me. And what that does for your psyche, like your depression, for your mentality, when you were a grown woman who was taking care of yourself, and then you have no idea if you can, like, wash your own self, or do your own hair, or cook or clean. Like, there's so many things that I've had to start, like, I can't do my...
Allowing people to do.
Do. And that's a very big thing that we have to deal with when it comes to our mentality.
Yep.
One of the other things that, I don't want to get into it, but I want to get into it about what it means for, like, when you say that you are going for dialysis 3 times a week for 4 hours, what does that mean for you when it comes to having a life and a job?
I can tell you this much, it means no life, and it really means no job. Only because, like, when I first started dialysis, still trying to be the person that I am, always on the go, managing, and it was just very difficult to say to my employer that I can't work in the mornings, or even just I can't work these days because of. And then at first I wasn't comfortable saying it because then I didn't want to hear, well, we can't hire you, or you can't stay with. I mean, typically they shouldn't do that. But it gets to be a lot. I tried managing and it was just a bit much.
And it's
even maintaining part-time
was it's
because after I'm finished, I go home and I just sleep for maybe 2-3 hours. Sometimes I can't get back out of bed because I'm just so tired. Or I might get out of bed, but I don't want to go out and physically do anything.
Because you're so drained because you have a lack of energy.
Right.
And some days, I've been having it, like, especially with me having my relapses, there are days where I can't sleep. You guys don't understand. We will go for like a good 24 hours. And it's not the same. Someone posted something on Facebook. There was a difference between not having energy and having fatigue. We have fatigue in terms of it's not just, okay, perfect example. Let's just say this is a cup of glass. And all of a sudden, you know, you start the week, you're full of water. You spend the day, you get a little bit. You know, normally that's how everybody is. But when we spend it, we're coming like, after Monday, we're like at half a glass of water.
Literally.
And then you go and sleep, and when everybody else is like refilled to the top the next morning,
You're still trying to
get to a
little bit up.
Just a little bit up, and then and it depends on what's happening, and life is so different every single day because what I do today and I may have energy for may not be what I have energy for tomorrow.
Right. And the thing about it is I find I have to plan things out.
Yes.
Like, if I don't have anywhere to go tomorrow, I have to make sure I get what I can get done tomorrow. Because come the day, like Friday dialysis, that's a dead day for me. I don't think about doing anything.
You have to rest as well. I am back on phase 2 with my treatment team, and so doing things like an hour workout, which 4 months ago would have been like, okay, I'm passing out for 3 hours afterwards, and
or before the workout's done, you're like yawning, like, okay.
That's exactly what happened.
I get it.
And then my trainer, Hope, who I love dearly, will put me in her like personal sauna for like 20 minutes, half an hour, but when she comes to get me, I'm like passed out because I'm like, and this is because it's serious because we're trying, and it's a weird thing because on some days I say it's a blessing from God that we have to be so healthy when other people don't want to be healthy.
Right.
But at the same token, you don't actually have to want this to be healthy. Okay. We're gonna invite you guys right now to definitely like, share, and you're more than welcome to ask some questions. I've got LaShawn Angel Princess Favorite on the phone. On the line. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Share, like, do everything that you have to do to get this Facebook Lives out there, and you're more than welcome, you guys, to start asking questions when it comes to certain things. If you don't know what's going on, or if you have certain questions. Coming back to something. So I started going, because you know me, I'm that resourceful kind of person. I don't care if I have it. It's one of those things where you're like, I'm going to find a way to beat it. And then you realize you can't beat it. You got to
maintain it, yeah.
Manage it.
Yeah.
In a year and a half now, I've come across a lot of people who unfortunately do not have the support that we get, nor have the belief of what people are going through, because again, it's invisible. People are so, well, you need to be wearing a cast, you need to have a broken arm, I need to see you in the actual hospital. I mean, like, I was lucky that the people that were around me, the community that is around me, literally saw this drastic change in me, that and then they have the lovely random spurts of pain in my body, so I could be having a conversation and then I'm like, ow. So they saw the change in me, and they believed it. But there are mothers, there are wives, there are husbands, there are sons whose families are looking at them saying, you're lazy, you have no energy, you have no. Have you come across like that when it comes to your community?
When I was first diagnosed, I never physically had someone tell me, but I got the sense of it, especially from my immediate family.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, explain.
Because they never understood how I really felt, like not being able to. Hi, Mommy. Sorry, I just saw.
Hi, Mommy. Thanks for joining.
I don't think, especially my dad. I love my dad dearly, but I got the sense that he didn't understand what it meant for me, that I just didn't have the energy to get up to do something. And believe it or not, like you said, I want to get out of bed and I want to vacuum my room. I want to clean and, reorganize things, but I mean, 10 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And that 10 minutes is me pulling apart my room, and then my room's even more messier than it started. And I'm just at the point where I can't go anymore. But I did get that sense at the beginning. Now I think they more understand. But for me, it's a personal thing where I'm still trying to pace myself when it comes to certain things, plan out my day and stuff like that. But some days it's just like Lupus is just like, nope, not today.
Not today.
So yeah.
One of the things that you brought up earlier was medicine. And so, you go from this life of, just vitamins, just take your vitamin C, and now I've got Cymbalta, I've got Lyrica, I've got Tata, I've got Tramadol, I've got like all of these things that, like, it's really kind of sad. You're in the morning and people are like, why are you taking 5 pills? And you're like,
so something on that, the other day I'm supposed to be taking, I won't even ask the name of it right now, but I'm supposed to be taking a medication, and I haven't been taking it.
Okay.
But for that exact reason, in the morning time, I'm like scooping up like 9 pills in my hand, only because like one medication, they may break it down.
Yeah.
So you're not taking like 10 in one pill, you're taking like 5 different ones to add up to the dose of 10.
Yeah.
So I'm like, at one time, I'm like, no, like, I am not a druggie, so we're not doing this.
Aww.
And I literally stopped taking my pills at one point.
Now, do you notice that when you come off the pills that your body reacts different?
Not anymore.
Really?
Not anymore.
I
But I think it's because I'm doing little things, obviously not as much as I should be doing, but I'm doing little things where, like, I don't have to take my prednisone every day anymore. Okay. Which for me is a big deal, because prednisone does more harm than good. It helps to manage, but there are side effects to every medication, and that's a heavy one.
Yeah, it is. We've got our first question, and it's coming from Candace.
Candace.
Yes, Candace. She says, you both speak about your physical health. I would like to know how you are managing your mental health, or how you are managing your self-care. How do you cope? Do you want to go first, or should I?
You can go first.
I can go first.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my name's Khalilah, and I have a ministry called My Life is a Testimony. So everyone will tell you that I'm real, and they call me just so. There's your warning. There's your warning before we continue this conversation. Okay. When it comes to my self-care, funny enough, I actually don't get to do a lot of it. I have to go and get my hair done. I'm very blessed that one of my, your family but not your family is your hairdresser. So I have to go and see her, especially even more in the summertime because you'd be sweating out a hairdo. Sorry.
Black girl problem.
When it comes to right now, at the stage that I am, I'm okay to take care of myself, like wash myself and things like that. Cooking is very difficult, so I find myself getting things like I might go get a Walmart chicken and break it down, or I'm learning how to take certain foods, like I'll get frozen pizza or I'll get something, or I'm taking a certain product line that's also helping me, so it's like shakes and protein things that are giving me what I want. Okay. That's how I'm taking care of myself self-wise, because I can't do my laundry. Like when you're up and down and you're bending and you're folding and you're all that, I'm out for the day.
Yeah.
When it comes to my mental health, so here's the deal. Prior to everything happening to me, I had already been diagnosed with mild to severe depression growing up as a teenager. Putting me in this situation was not in any way, shape, or form a blessing. If you've been blessed enough over the last day or so to see our promo video, you'll see that me and Sheriffa were having a conversation about the before and after me, the Mrs. Go-Getter, do it all, do everything. The first question you ever asked me when you saw me last year and you saw what state I was in was, have you accepted this?
I think we were on the phone.
We were at the camp. And you were
right.
And you were like, have you accepted this? And I was like, yeah. And the truth is, I haven't, and I'm still working on it because, I look good and everything, but I'm 40. And you've lived your life 39 years, and I'm a canoeer, I'm a driver, I'm a nature person. I like cultural things. I like dancing. I like going to the movies. I like they call me hot foot. And because somebody else decided that they were going to because of somebody else, that stopped. Because of somebody else, that stopped. And I went from being this always on the go kind of person to your life just stopped. They had to K-tape my back for 5 out of 6 weeks. They had to, and so you couldn't even move. I used to be very flexible, and I've been working on it again, but it's like if you're someone that stretches, imagine not being able to stretch, getting that freedom that you get from that stretching. And I found different ways that I thought were helping me, but it was after my second fibromyalgia support group. People were asking me questions like, do you have kids? Are you married? Are you, and then you realize, wait a minute.
What's life gonna be now?
What's life gonna be now?
Yeah.
And in that same week, I had a friend who had a wedding, and it had been the first time that I was supposed to go out and dance. But going to the wedding, I had to bring a pillow with me to sit into the church. I got through half a song before I was huffing and puffing and using my inhaler. And at that same support group, someone had said to me she had just sold her canoe, her kayak. And I started to cry. I started to cry because you take these things for granted. It's just, I'm doing what I need to do, and it's you can't do that anymore because as soon as you try to stroke on the canoe or paddle, it's going to hurt you. And it put me into a very downward spiral to the point. And I was also changing some medications at the time. And the collision of all these different things, wondering about what my future was going to look like, not fully really accepting what I was in, being depressed about what I was going into, and then taking the medication put me into a suicidal state. I have talked about this, but I haven't told everybody, so now it's worldwide. Because I have my child and youth worker diploma here in Canada, I had to actually put myself, I don't know if I even told you this, I had to admit myself into a psych ward in the hospital because I was having suicidal thoughts and tendencies for about 2 or 3 days. And I was scared to be in my home, and I was scared to leave my home. And I was extremely depressed. And I literally, when everybody was here for Thanksgiving in Canada having a good time, I was in a hospital. I was in a hospital trying to keep myself safe, trying to keep myself alive. So when Candace asked about how do you manage your mental health, part of it is having to do what you need to do to survive.
Yeah.
And some of it is doing something like this. Some of it is recording myself, whether I post it on social media or not, talking about what it is that I'm going through. Some of it is I'm finding other ways. Like I love music still, so music is my therapy. If I'm really down, it's gospel because me and Daddy, I call God Daddy. I need some uplifting.
Right.
And sometimes I actually just have to say to my friends, I need you to take me out.
Yeah.
I need you to take me in my car and take me somewhere.
Like, get a distraction.
Because if I stay in my house, it's gonna be really bad. And so I might be more luckier because at the fact that I'm a motivational speaker, that I have that voice. But I've had to say things like to certain people, okay, stop. Like when we were having that conversation last year, Sheriffa and I had her AY camp at her church AY camp, and we had gone down about 25, 30 stairs to go on a trail. We got 5 minutes into it, and we had to stop, and we had to vocalize for that, and we barely made it back up.
Yeah.
I'm just learning that I have to have a voice. I'm learning that I have to say to people, you're walking too fast. I can't do that. You need to hold this for me.
Or you just have to learn to say no. I ain't going there. I can't go. Okay, come to my house instead. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, even hearing you talk about your mental health, like, I can definitely agree with every ounce of what you said.
Yeah.
Because I think I remember telling you I had that issue with my arm.
Oh, yeah.
For 7 months, and it also put me in a depressive state. And I'm the person that has depression at winter. What do you call it? Seasonal.
They call it SAD. Seasonal.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then that whole issue with my arm happened in that time, and I remember I got suicidal, and I told my mom, like, I need help.
Yeah.
I didn't get obviously to the point where I was hurting myself, but I think if I didn't get a therapist at the time, I don't know what would have been of that. Whether I would have been here or in a psych ward or whatever the case is. So I think mental health does come along with things that you're dealing with, especially if you don't have the mental support or you're not using the different avenues of like music or writing, or like you said, recording yourself. Right.
I'm the biggest advocate right now. I was before, and I am still. See a psychiatrist, see a psychologist, see a counselor. A lot of these pain clinics have cognitive behavioral therapy or the ability to talk with somebody. We got to do it. And you can't come to family and friends. You want to share with family and friends, but then you get that. Well, I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to.
I think that way all the time.
I had this point where I have two friends in my life, and there's a thing where you have your friendship, and you have your friends, and you kind of have an idea of what friendship is supposed to mean. But then when they're bathing you, or they're cooking for you, or they're doing every single thing for you, you're like, this was not part of the agreement.
Yeah, or it's one of those where you know you can't physically do it, but your mind is like, I can do that myself, and then you feel so useless.
Mm. What are some of the things are there other things that you've been doing in terms of helping with your mental health?
I've definitely been doing the music thing. I love me some soca, so what's on soca and waistline is gone. But
girl, can I tell you?
I'm not Trini, and I'm not Trini.
I am.
But for the most part, like when I do need that spiritual upliftment, definitely gospel is a go-to.
Mm-hmm.
I right now tend to journal.
Mm-hmm.
From therapy, my therapist has been helping me vocalize more.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been definitely doing that more, where I'm talking to people, letting people know how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a slow process of changing what I used to do, which was I was very internal and I never said a lot, and I would be very passive about certain things. But I'm learning now to be vocal, let people know, yes, I can do it, or no, I just can't do it, and that's just what it is.
I just want to take a moment here. We've got a couple of other people coming on. Shout outs to Tara, Brittany, Dan, and Azathena, Miss Desiree. Mariette says, thank you for sharing. Candace, who originally asked the question, said, thank you both for sharing and being honest. I know chronic pain is very physical and emotionally exhausting. So keep those questions coming. We definitely want to be able to answer any of those questions for you. So again, please continue to share this post. Share it with people that you, friends and family that you know that are out there. Joshua, thank you for being on there. Tommy, you have always been
my sister.
See, but that's love. You got family up in there.
I know.
One of the things that I'm going to ask this because I don't know if this happens to you.
Right.
So when we're having a conversation about energy, fatigue, one of the things that has happened to my body, which doesn't work in my favor, when I was, before all of this, I had actually been deemed, I had a reading disorder. They labeled me with a reading disorder. So my memory was not always the best, or it was hard for me to memory things. And now that this has happened, as soon as my energy goes low, and if you've seen this, I have brain fog. So brain fog is kind of like not even when your whole body starts shutting down, but as soon as you're starting to lose that energy, your energy within your body is trying to go into other places, and it's not trying to stay up in your mind.
Right.
And I will Rolodex. Like, I will Rolodex, and I can't remember people's names, or
or I get this thing where I will go, for instance, to text my mom.
Yeah. And
then from taking out my phone, going and sitting on my bed, I have my phone, and I'm like, what was I gonna do?
You feel like you have Alzheimer's?
Like, seriously. And I literally don't remember what I was gonna do or who I was gonna message. So yeah, it happens to me.
It happens to you. Okay, so we've kind of got into the, what's going on, but there is a part, and I'm not doing this to vent, I'm actually bringing this up because I want to have the conversation, because there are so many people that actually do love us. There are groups out there that have their say. I'm in a different position than you because, again, fibromyalgia is, everybody is different. Let me explain this to you. When someone says that they have fibromyalgia, and somebody else says that they have fibromyalgia, it's not the same thing.
It's not the same, no. It's the same thing with lupus. It's not all the same.
It's not the same, people. It's
you may have similar symptoms and similar things that happen, but it's not altogether the same.
It's not the same. And we have people in the world that, sometimes you're on Facebook, and I've had to come off of certain groups because everybody thinks that they have a solution for it.
Yeah.
And you have no idea how much we, being the people that are going through it, are trying to find a way for us to manage. And I understand very, very clearly that the same way that the color of our skin is different, that what I'm trying may not work for you.
Right.
And so I may make a suggestion, but I'm not like, oh, you gotta try this.
Do it.
You have to try. You have to. And you kind of want to look at people, and you want to smile, but in your mind, you kind of want to punch them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I told you. I already gave you the warning.
Yeah.
I'm a just so straight up kind of person. We know that there are groups and doctors and family and friends that love us. We honestly and truthfully do. But part of the understanding for you as someone on the outside of this, is that you have to understand and recognize that the same way that you're in a family and your brothers and your sisters, you might have similarities, but you all like different things.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when it comes. It's the same thing when it comes to us, and that lack of understanding can sometimes get frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially about how you approach us when you find out things. Can people understand what I'm talking about?
I can definitely understand because I will have some people that come up to me, oh, ask your dad if he knows this herb, and ask him if he knows this, or why don't you get this, and for me personally, a lot of people don't understand, like I said, I'm dealing with two different things, and what might be good for lupus isn't good for me having kidney disease.
Really?
And vice versa.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I have to be very careful as to the things that I take, because I could be taking something that's working out in favor for the lupus, but doing more harm to my kidneys. Or, so I get it. And it gets overwhelming. Because it's not like you don't want to take people's advice, but you have to be careful because you're in a situation. It's not them.
Yeah, and then there are times when people want to kind of like push you a little bit, and you have to be like, no.
And then they feel like you don't want to help yourself.
Yeah. and we do. So I've started to do something where I describe what I'm going through with some people. So I feel a lot of different things. I can feel tingling, I can feel random pain, and when I say random pain, like last week I was in the middle of like Canada Commuters and just walking down the aisle, and because I had just finished like a workout with my trainer, like the after effect doesn't last immediately. The after effect can last you 8 hours. So I go to pick up something and all of a sudden my foot's hurting, and I'm just like, what the? Some of the things that I like to say is, one of the things when it comes to my hand, because unfortunately this hand is not the way that it used to be. If I start to type, it gets numb very easily. If I'm starting to lose energy in my body, this is one of the 4 things. So my 3 fingers right here will start to go numb. My palm will go numb. Sometimes it'll go over up into my shoulders.
Wow.
I always call it either the T. I call it like if it's the shoulders, it'll just be the shoulders, or if it's going down the spine, it'll be a T. And if it goes along the lower back as well, I call it the I.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And so one of the things, well, people are like, well, what does it feel like when your fingers are like hurting you? And I'll say something like, it's summertime. It's a perfect analogy. Imagine that you stick your hand into that bucket of ice, or you go into the barbecue and you stick your hand into that ice because you want to get that nice cold drink at the bottom, and you stick your hand around, but then when you pull your hand out, it's like those pains and tingling because of the temperature change.
Yeah.
That's what I can feel throughout my whole body.
Yeah, I'm actually experiencing that right now because of my surgery that I had in
A few weeks ago.
May.
Oh yeah.
Left me with nerve damage in my dominant arm, so I can't write with my left hand.
Yeah.
And I feel it in these 3 fingers. I can't feel anything. So I would pick up a water bottle and it would fall right out of my hand.
And you would, yeah, you become clumsy.
So I think I know what you're
talking about.
You can't feel anything.
It's just, you can get a random, like, I'll be just walking and then I'll feel like someone stabbed me with a knife or a pin or a prick. A whole bunch of things like that.
Yeah.
We have some more comments? Yes, we do.
So Angela Brown says, when you tell people about your life, they feel that they have to cure us, or they will offer you oils, herbs, and other remedies. Girl, you hit the nail right on the head. Yeah. My sister Tammy says, like they say in my big fat Greek wedding, use Windex, it cures everything.
Is she older or younger?
I'm the youngest one. She's definitely older than me.
Now I know where you get some of the comedy jokes from. I'm just like, use Windex. I wish. Yeah. I wish.
But that's typically what people think, though. They just have a cure for everything. They're the doctor with no medical degrees whatsoever. Pretty much.
You're trying to help. God bless your heart that you were trying.
Definitely. But
help.
Like you said, it's the way you come about it.
Yeah.
And what you say and how you say it.
And it's also about what kind of concern you had for us prior to giving us the information. It's like with any relationship, right? Like, you can't come up to me and be like, girl, you need to leave that man. It's like, but we just met like 2 minutes ago.
Right.
But if you've been in my life for 20 years.
Then I'd be more receptive to what you're trying to say. That's definitely true.
Okay, I got another question from Miss Candace. On a scale of 1 to 10, how frustrating do you get explaining your pain to other people, especially those who try to play doctor? I think those are 2 separate questions.
To be honest with you, I get frustrated like 0 to 100 real quick.
Really?
And that's something that I am working on, especially in therapy right now.
Yeah.
I like my patience level is not there, but I do have to be understanding for people that don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm more passive. Like, if I find myself getting really frustrated or think that you're asking me something stupid, I just be like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm in pain. Leave me alone. Because it just gets annoying. Like, do I really have, like, everyone's experienced some sort of pain before, right?
Yeah. You know what's really funny? Everybody has, and sometimes when you can explain it in the way that, okay, perfect example. One of my boys was, like, he got a cold. He got the flu for winter that just passed. And he's a go-getter as well. And he literally was housebound for like 7 or 8 days.
Wow.
Right? And he was like, I can't take this anymore. And I said, imagine being like that for a year.
Right.
And he
I was just about to say that. Imagine that over the course, like my first major relapse was in 2013, and I was in hospital for 2 months.
I think, I don't know if I saw those pictures then and things like that.
I think so, because I did start blocking around there. I was in hospital for 2 months, and then 7 months that just passed with my arm, I was home too. I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I was at home since October till last year till May this year. So
we've tried to make a couple of dates with each other.
Yeah, no, it wasn't working.
Let's go and do this. Let's go, girl.
It wasn't working.
It's not happening.
It's not. The pain was horrible.
Angela Brown says 12. On a scale of 1 to 10, 12.
No, seriously.
I think it's very interesting for me. I'm starting to get more frustrated with myself than other people because I don't mind sharing the information, but what frustrates me is when I find myself apologizing. When I find myself
apologizing to others?
Because of what I have. So I might be somewhere with people and all of a sudden my energy's starting to go low, or my memory, the brain fog's kicking in, and I find myself saying things like, oh, you know, I'm really sorry, it's my fibromyalgia, and I'm explaining those things. And it's really hard because I think I start getting more frustrated with myself because one of the things that you said when we started this was like, you're comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to become comfortable with myself.
So you've only been like a year and a half in.
It's been a year and a half in, but the thing about it is as much as it's been a year and a half in, I've got a lot of people looking at me going, well, you're Khalilah, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like,
they remember you for who you were.
They remember me for who I am. And when you were talking about dancing the other day, so I have friends that are DJs, and all of a sudden, I can't dance.
Yeah.
And then I had my relapse. And it's Canada Day, and they're like, okay, let's go on the boat cruise. And I had already bought my ticket in the place when I thought I was in a good place.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got onto the boat cruise. We hadn't left as yet. It was the second song in, and I went, I have to sit down. Right? But then my DJ being my DJ.
Yeah.
Started to play, and
you couldn't sit down?
No, I had to sit down.
Oh, okay.
But the thing about it is I've been chair dancing my whole life. So can I say?
The chair was getting a kind of way.
The chair was getting one piece of wine on the boat, but I was learning.
Yeah.
I was learning how to become comfortable with myself. And what was really interesting was people were coming to me like when I used to dance on my feet, like, oh my God, you're having such a good time, and I was like,
you have to learn to adjust.
And it's not easy.
Yeah.
I think you guys, it's not like I'm 5 and I'm learning about
it's like you were already well into life and you had to stop and like start all over again. Yeah.
It's like being born all over again and going, okay, well, how do I do this? How do I bend this? How do I take care of this? How do I X, Y, and Z? Sharon, hello, my lovely from New York. Miss Tay Tay, thank you as once as well. Shantae has always been following me and watching me every time she's on here. So please continue to share this, share these links, continue to ask questions if you have some. Are there other things that you want to talk about when it comes to this? So like, we talked about family and community support. We definitely talked about, just to let you guys know, in the actual event page here that we did of the Real Talk, there are lists. I did of all these different kind of Facebook groups that you can go to for support. That's a topic I want to get onto. Okay, pet peeve. I joined a lot of social media groups thinking that because I was home, being in the social media groups would help me. But sometimes they're very depressing. Sometimes they're, and it's a catch-22 because it's completely in a rough place. And some of the postings are like, yes, like, yes, like. But on the other times when I'm trying to be strong and I'm still trying to develop my life and I'm still trying to get out of bed and do certain things, it's like I don't want to hear that because it's so. Some of the postings can actually be very depressive. And
it makes you in a more worse position than you already are.
It does.
Mentally.
It does.
Especially.
It does. So what would you say in kind words to, if there are groups out there watching, if there's somebody in bed and, you know, I'm very thankful because the two of us minister here in Ontario with our religious church. We're Seventh-day Adventists, and we minister on different levels. And the ministry has been one of those things that has helped bring us out of the house, but has sometimes put us back in the house.
Oh yeah.
We're like, yeah, I'm gonna go do something with the youth and the young adults, and then you get home and you're like, what?
Definitely.
Did I do that?
Yeah.
So it's a catch-22 on the way that you do it, but if there's somebody out there that's like been in bed, having a hard time, trying to deal with stuff, what would you say from your perspective?
I think the biggest thing for me is try to surround yourself with people who will, I'm not gonna say make you happy, but people who will lighten up the mood, make jokes with you. Like if I'm home by myself, I'm just waiting for literally, because I know there's gonna be some sort of thing, or like my sister works for TTC, so I know I'm getting bare jokes about her day.
Yeah.
So it's just surround yourself with people who will make your day happier, share jokes with you, talk to you. I think most importantly, like, talk to somebody.
And there's some people that would say it's easier said than done when their family is not supportive.
Definitely. And to be honest with you, I can't relate in that aspect because I do have my family. I do have a good support group of friends who I can text and they know what's going on with me firsthand. So to be honest with you, I can't answer that for someone who doesn't have family. Because I'm pretty sure there's someone living by themselves dealing with that when their family's maybe back home or, you know, no one around like that. And I mean, you may have friends, but I don't think there's anything more than family. Like, family's different than, so I don't know.
What is because we're two different ages. Do you mind disclosing how old you are?
I'm 25. Black don't crack, honey.
So you're 25, I'm 40. And now we had a very brief conversation about relationships.
Right.
So I've come across a couple of different people who are in your age bracket, and they're dealing with like fibromyalgia, and we've had this conversation that is sometimes
are they looking for a wife?
No, they're girls too. We've had this conversation where, you know, it's a weird thing because when you want to bring something to the table, we're bringing all of this
baggage.
And I mean, like, I already know that they're going to bring their own baggage.
Well, but I mean, I think this is a different level.
This is a different level baggage.
Yeah.
And I've got people who I've met that are around the same age as you, and they're like, whoa, my life is over. Whoa, I'll never have kids. Whoa, I'll never get married. And, you know, that still scares me because chronic pain, what does that mean when it's ready for me to have a kid? I'm like, I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, so, oh, something's happened. I just want to ask you, what would you say to somebody that is definitely feeling that way, or what are some of the thoughts that you've had that you would continue to, that you would deal with?
Um, for me personally, when I first got diagnosed, I was like that. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna want me now. I'm gonna be single with cats running around my house. I might not even own a house at this point because like it's hard for me to like maintain a job. But I honestly would say to someone, don't give up hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've seen a lot of things on social media and stuff like that of, people without limbs
Yeah.
and they're happy. And, I think it comes from a place of them accepting themselves for who they are and what their situation is, and just being confident in their own skin.
Loving yourself.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like people say, when you love yourself, others will see that, and you don't have to worry about who loves you from who doesn't, kind of thing. Because that alone will show them your confidence, and then it brings a positive attraction to you. Whether it's more friends in your life, like your other half, or whatever the case is. I personally like from what doctor told me is that I more than likely won't be able to have kids. But thank God for the faith that I have, as small as a mustard seed as it may be, that I believe that if I earnestly pray and just genuinely ask God to provide me with that one child, He will do what He has to do to bless me with that child. And I also tell people that I have no luck. I'll come up with that kid with a big head and broad shoulders, but it's all good. It's all good. But I'm on the fence. Some days I'm like, okay, like forget it. I'll just be single. I'll enjoy life and do what I have to do for myself to live a best life. But then I also have hope. Like I can find someone to be happy like everybody else.
Yes, yeah. But it's weird when you're like on that first date or someone comes up and they're like, hey, how you doing? What you do? Do you work? And you're like, I'm on.
I have a little side too.
You're like, how do you explain that you, like from the time that you say that you're on like disability,
I know.
you're not working, they're
yeah, they're like all government money, government checks.
Yeah. So so I want to thank a couple of people for joining us. And we have a couple of more questions here. So I'm going to come back to your sister. This is your sister, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Tammy says, can you ladies please explain what your illness is to the folks who just joined in and don't know what your illness is?
So I have lupus. It's an autoimmune disease. Basically, my body will attack my organs instead of getting rid of a cold or virus infection or whatever the case is.
Yeah. And I have fibromyalgia, which is chronic pain. So basically it's in my head. My brain will send signals to the rest of my body that I'm in distress or in pain, when the fact of the matter is that I'm actually not. And that gets more, it happens more the more energy I use throughout the day, and the chronic fatigue that I have with it, and brain fog that comes with it when you can't remember things. So your brain tells you things with your body, and your body just decides.
Yeah, do what it wants to do.
Angela Brown said, my family is supported, but since it's been 6 years, they don't know how to help, so they ignore you or overprotect you. Do you have family that overprotects you? Or they ignore you?
No, not ignore me. Definitely not, because I'm just a loudmouth like that, and I make myself heard.
I'm here.
I don't think they overprotect me, but they definitely do look out for me. Okay. Especially my sister Tammy. Like, don't play with her baby sister.
This is gonna go to a shout out from Miss Jamie. I love you. I hope you're still watching. Jamie, we call each other rock stars. I've had to travel a little bit, and one of the things, I don't know if you've had to deal with it, is now that when I do travel, I actually have to apply for medical assistance.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not just talking about the wheelchair to get you from the gate to the plane, but I actually have to get medical seating. I actually have to go to the doctor, get a form filled out, because descending, okay, taking off, the pressure taking off can sometimes set my body off. What it means to go through customs and security can drain my body. What it means to descend from that altitude. So when everyone else is like trying to pull out their ears and they're trying to like pop their ears, my body is just trying to pop sometimes, depending.
Like your whole body?
So sometimes it's not always that. It depends if I've already been losing energy.
Right.
But as I'm descending, my body will be like, it could shake, I could be feeling the pain and the pressure of it.
Wow.
And it's actually quite not surprising to the doctors. They're like, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So I actually applied for medical seating, and so I actually have to have someone that goes with me depending on how far my trip is. A few weeks back, we were connecting in Vancouver, and they actually we were coming from the U.S. to Canada. And I can't walk a certain strip, like a certain length.
Right.
So we were waiting for the medical person to come and get us through customs to the Canada side.
Right.
And we waited over an hour. So because we waited over an hour, the stress, we left, our connecting plane left. The stress, just the stress of knowing that I was going to lose that plane, the stress of the descending from the first plane and the energy used to get me to the airport earlier that day, my body went into, we call them flare-ups or episodes when you're going through something. It's a flare-up or an episode.
Right.
And I was going through an episode where my body was just starting to deteriorate. Now, I was okay until they said, okay, well, we'll put you into a hotel for the night because we had come in through late. But when they sent us to the hotel was already booked for the night. And so the hotel sent us back to the airport. When we got to the airport, because it's Vancouver closes at like 11, 12. So we ended back up at the same international spot, and now the same time that the same distance that I was waiting for the cart to take us, I now had to walk. So by the time I had walked from the international terminal to the domestic terminal, I was shaking, I was shuddering,
You were having an episode.
I was having an episode, and an episode is like you had to help me get out of the wheelchair. I couldn't stand on my own, and so people kept thinking when the managers were trying to figure out where to put us, I was passing out but waking up in pain. And he's like, oh, she's sleeping, she's waking up, and Jamie's like, no. Every time you see her freak out, her body is attacking her. She's going through an episode. And he was like, really? To the point that I had first started the conversation having one or two words, and Jamie was like, it got so bad that you were either pointing at things or your sentences were two words.
Yeah.
And she was this huge advocate for me.
Yeah.
And so in my first year and a half, I have no problem with someone being overprotective.
No
problem
definitely.
at all.
I think the main two people I can rely on is my sister, like I said, and my mom. Because they know, like they've been through everything with me where it comes to surgeries, doctor's appointments, what like happens when I feel a certain way, or if I'm down and out, they know something's wrong kind of thing. So it's not overly protective, but there's still someone there watching out for you.
And I actually don't mind it because there's a point when I actually lose my voice.
Yeah.
Where I can't speak.
Yeah.
And I need someone to do it because people are going to misinterpret what's happening to me.
Right.
And when I'm telling you, my rock star Jamie, she got up in there and she's like, look, this is what she needs. And they're like, okay, well, we'll put you on the first flight out. And she's like, no. See, you don't understand. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. She has fibromyalgia. You can't put her on a 9 o'clock flight. She needs her body to rest and get rejuvenated. And then even when I had taken a later flight, my body still wasn't ready for the flight, that we had to postpone it again. Like they were afraid to put me on the plane. And when I was losing my voice, she was there. So for me right now, being overprotective is actually not a problem for me. Want to thank Rashid, Terry, and Sasha for joining us right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Asking you guys to continue to share the links, ask questions. We're having a really good conversation right now when it talks about don't judge a book by its cover. You're looking at Khalilah and Sheriffa Fibromyalgia, lupus. You think we were some girls ready to go out into the town, but pretty much after this,
I wish.
I'm going to bed after this. We might catch a movie across the street and fall asleep in there. How about that?
You're on your own. You're on your own.
Like, no, I'm just time out. I'm right on the field. Angela Brown says, I was told that I can't have kids due to a congenital illness. I'm very sorry about that, honey. But guess what? I have a 25-year-old daughter. Amen. Don't give up faith. It can happen. See? I like that. I like you. You need to send both of us a direct message because we gotta like you as friends and like maybe have you on this call with us. She also says, oh, I passed out on a place to Cuba. I ended up in the hospital in Cuba.
Oh no.
Oh, honey.
Oh, in the plane.
I passed out in the plane and had. Girl, Angela, tell us what you have. You've been asking a lot of good questions, but we don't know what it is that you have yourself. So please share with us if you're comfortable with doing that. We've got some really good conversation. I'm just going to do a time check with us right now. Okay, so it is 9:14, and we try to keep this down to an hour and a half, because we could talk forever.
Yeah.
So we're going to ask you guys right now to please, if you have a couple of more questions when it comes to chronic pain, invisible disabilities, fibromyalgia, lupus, kidney failure, set out your questions right now, because we probably got about another 10-15 minutes on here. And if you're just getting on, stay on. We're having a great conversation right now because I never really get to have. So here's another thing. I don't really get to have these conversations with other people. So funny enough, Tay Smith, who's on here right now, she's one of my spiritual little sisters. I love her to death. And there'll be times where I'm trying to explain something to her, and she'll look at me and she'll be like, I don't know what it is that you're experiencing. You need to tell me what is going on. And so these are when I'm learning to use descriptive words. But it is very interesting, the conversations that you have with someone that gets you to someone that doesn't get you.
Because it's like you can finish each other's sentences.
No, I was just about to say that. You really can. Did you have this thing with the ouch and the I hate that. You know, we can't. So one of our issues is I haven't really been able to go to church because the pews in the church, in most of our churches, are wooden, and we're Seventh-day Adventists, which means that's an all-day thing.
Oh God.
I haven't been back to my home church. I went back once. I think I lasted 20 minutes, and I haven't been back since in a year and a half. We were also having a conversation about weather. So, cold.
Oh God.
So my first year, so technically last winter was my first year of cold. I have never had such excruciating pain in my whole entire life. To know that I've got a turtleneck, a sweater, and a very heavy jacket on, and you're driving, and because you're the driver, your whole left hand is feeling the cold. I could be in a room that has a window or a window door, and I can still feel the cold from across the room. You were telling me about, like, you don't leave home sometimes to go to church or to go to places because the cold is just,
hell no. Okay? No.
Go.
Because, okay, I have rheumatoid arthritis, okay? And what that means for me is that it's not just your regular arthritis. It's every joint of my body. I cannot open the cap of a bottle or pick up a pen to write one letter. Like, that's how bad it is, because the cold gets into my joints and my bones, and then everything's aching. My joints are swollen. Like, I can't do it. So I just protect myself. And then it brings us back to the conversation about if people think you're lazy. Because I'm wrapped up in bed. I really just have to stay warm.
And it's not even just about being wrapped up in bed. The energy. Okay, so for normal people, I don't know how to say this. You know, you already know what it's like to try and go through the snow when the snow comes
because
down.
it's like restrictive and it's like and then everything's on you. It's so heavy and you're
So you know what that feels like. Now multiply that by like 10 or 100. And that's how we feel when we just trying to get down the stairs.
I can't do it. And then my body's got this menopause thing going on early, where I'll be in like PJs and like a onesie, and then I'm hot and I'm like, oh my god,
you got the
oh
sweating
my
thing
god, like it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And then when I'm like stripping now, I get cold and I'm
putting
on and off all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm just wrapped up in bed. Like it's weird.
I unfortunately have like sweats, and I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't. And it's one of those things that you hear
Menopause
about.
at 25.
It's not 25. I refuse.
I've claimed it already.
I'm not claiming it. Fadia said, sorry, I had to step out to make some dinner. Did you make some for us? Because, you know, I can't really cook the same way, so just give us your address and we'll come over. So I don't know if it was covered or not. Sheriffa, are you on dialysis?
Yes, I am. 3 times a week for about 4 hours.
Right, so that means 3 times a week, you have a 4-hour span to cook for her. Angela says, I had a car accident in 2012. Someone T-boned my car and I broke my neck. My neck is 95% fused and I have no movement. I also have a kidney disease, congenital heart disease. I have lots of pain all over my body from head to toe. Girl, my heart goes out to you.
Definitely.
I mean, like, we sit here, it's really one of those things that even when we're sitting here and we think that we have it bad, there's always
someone that's worse off than you.
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to say that it's so unfortunate, but it's the same thing for her. Like, there's someone dealing with way worse than she is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and yet you are still online with us being very vocal. So thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, sincerely, Angela, please send both me and Sheriffa a direct.
I would love to keep in touch.
I would love to keep in touch with you. I need to know what part of the world you're at, girl. Tammy says, I cannot relate to what you both are feeling physically with your illnesses and the difficulties of coping, but if I can share one positive that I always try to take with me every day is Hakuna Matata.
That's her thing. Yeah.
Stay positive, keep smiling, and just laugh at everything, even when it seems serious. Laugh. If all else fails, watch Tom and Jerry. Positive laughter beats everything.
I like that.
Yes. So let me ask you about that. Where is your mind? Like, someone was asking us about mental health. Do you find it difficult to find joy every day? Do you find it difficult to laugh every day?
Especially now.
Really?
I can tell you why.
What?
Wedding season is in the air, girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And like, I see these engagement photos, and I see like,
it's okay. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there are days I want to cry.
Yeah. Well, I don't get that far. Like, I don't want to cry, but I'm just like.
No, it's not like I want to like usher over my pillow and.
Right.
But it's. You are right.
It makes you think, like, will I experience that?
Yeah.
But my mom did say, God will send the love of your life, ladies, on time. She's a praying woman, so I claim it. I claim it.
I claim it too.
But it's like when you see little things, or you see, like, children, like, people enjoying having their firstborn, and like, I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm 25. 5 more years and I'm 30. Like, time is ticking.
Gee, thanks. I'm 40. What are you trying to say?
I'll have them for you. How about that? But just little things like that, it makes you wonder,
it's hard.
What do I see my life being in the next 10, 20 years, or, you know, like.
Will I be blessed enough to find
to have my own family? And then
family.
I also think about, okay, like, God forbid my parents pass off and gone.
Who's gonna
you
help
know, it's not even that who's gonna help, because I do have 3 sisters, right? But for the most part, I mean, they have their lives to live too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just, not knowing what the future holds sometimes can be scary, and it can play on your mental.
Yeah, it is, and it's really funny because this is, and I'm so glad that you brought it up, because I can't have this conversation with other people, right? Everyone's like, yeah, I'm going to this wedding, and you know, even now you see like the older couples that are like hanging out together. You see like the grandpas and the grandmas like holding hands and you're doing certain things. And it's one thing to be single and wonder it, but when you know that you
have issues that come along with it, and will
these
you
are
find
life
that person
issues.
that can handle it? Yeah.
And it takes a very strong person. It takes. I mean, it's hard enough that we are trying to be strong, and it's our body.
I can be honest with you.
Go for it.
I've had people inquire about being in a relationship and stuff like that, but for me, I'm very straight up. Like my sister can tell you, like I let you know what it is. If you're not so good looking, I'll let you know. I got some makeup at home, but like I'm straight up in the sense where I let them know what I have. I say this is what it is. I have an autoimmune disease. I explain what the autoimmune disease is. Let them know I do dialysis 3 times a week. This is what it is, and I've actually had people stop talking to me.
It is. No, I get it too.
Yeah.
I do.
Like they fall off the face of the earth.
And it's not to say that we don't get suitors. You do, but it's a lot to handle. You want to make a date, and the one thing you're like, okay, I'm gonna put it in, but I can't guarantee you that I can go to this. Or, you know, they want to do certain things. I mean, like, it's kind of, unfortunately, it's somewhat embarrassing for people when, if I have a random pain somewhere, they're like, what the heck's wrong with her?
Have you gotten shut down, like, disrespectfully?
No.
I've had that happen to me.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
So I've shared with someone who was inquiring about about me, and he basically told me he doesn't want a sick girl.
Whoa.
And I pretty much just said, screw you.
I was like,
in less words than many. I think we all know.
I was like, you know what? I have an invisible disability, but you know,
I mean,
stupidity
you know what?
is also invisible.
Right, but I look at it like this. I did my part.
Yeah.
And it just shows like I'm confident about myself and who I am, and I wouldn't say I fully accepted it, but I somewhat accepted it to be able to put myself out there and let you know what it is. You can't accept it, and that's just on you. And you showing me that I don't want you in my life anyway.
Yeah, yeah. It's very. It actually is. It's a two-way thing. It keeps the people that don't need to be in your life.
Right.
Because at the same token,
it helps you weed out people.
Because at the same token, the ones that just kind of want to abuse you, kind of somewhere in their head go, okay, I can't with her.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, hey.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, a couple more comments, and we're going to have to be closing down really soon because it was such a good conversation. We may have to come back and do this again.
I think so.
Okay, so Sadia asked, would a kidney transplant be possible in your case, Sheriffa? And your answer is?
Yes. Yeah.
She is currently on the list.
The only thing about getting a kidney transplant is my lupus could attack again, and then screw up the good kidney. So
okay, we're not going to go there right now.
No, in the name of Jesus, I claim it that it will not happen. Nope.
Nope. Okay, your sister has definitely. Okay, so Tammy, I love you. I love
Oh my goodness, good point. Caravana season. I have to.
No. I'm already okay with not.
You're not good.
I used to make masks when I was little, but since I literally always make sure that I'm nowhere around Toronto, around Caravana.
Yeah.
No. But if I definitely want to feel it myself, I just go across the border for a day or two.
True.
Your sister says, my life is you and LaShawn. I got you.
My nephew.
Sweet shout outs to you, Tammy. I love your sisterness. Kathy Charles is on. Laura came on. Thank you so much. I know that Laura herself is dealing with fibromyalgia, and she's such a great mom and grandmother. Betty says, well, what I can tell you ladies is short. Hold on to God with all that you know when the time comes. I will share with you my story. I think you already know, Khalilah. Yeah. Okay, so I don't want to end this on a sour note, but I do want to leave this on a powerful note.
Right.
So we've definitely taken up enough of your time. So I'm going to bring us down to our last final words. If there is anything that you could say to someone that is, a follow-up question, Sheriffa. Have heard of a pair
exchange program. I have.
What is a pair exchange program?
So if someone's not, say you want to give me your kidney, but you're not compatible for me. So it's like a three-way kind of thing.
It's the whole Grey's Anatomy thing when everybody has
I
saw that episode.
So
everybody gets together and I can give it to someone else and their person can give it to you. Yeah, man.
So,
it's a family thing. Okay, let's end this off on a really good note. What would you like to say to, and your options are open, family members that don't know, friends that are still learning about it, people that are fighting, still just trying to survive, what words of wisdom would you leave?
I would say, number one, to people who are dealing with it, keep fighting.
Yes.
Love yourself.
Yes.
Try to accept that this is what it is for what it is, and that you're not alone. For family members who may know somebody dealing with it, is be as much of a support as you can. Have conversations every now and then. Check in with them every now and then to make sure they're okay. Even if it's say, hey, let's go for a walk. Even that, as simple as it is, can be uplifting. For people still figuring it out or hearing about it, take time to research. Take time to understand that not everything is seen. Some people look at me all the time and say, well, you don't look sick, or you're lying, you don't have that. So just be open-minded. Don't be narrow-minded to someone has to have like a patch on their arm or bandaged up or something in order to know that they're sick. You know what I mean? Like, be open-minded, treat everyone the way you would want to be treated, kind of thing, and just stay positive.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, you're younger, but you've been dealing with this longer. I'm older, and I'm still trying to figure this out.
My therapist actually says, like, I've been through more things than one person would go in a lifetime, which is, I think, is actually really true.
That's a whole other ballgame.
Yeah.
What would I say? Trying to figure out who you are. For the person that's on the same side as us, take your time. Discover who you are. As much as it might sound crazy, it may be your opportunity to rediscover yourself or try new things. There are some things that my life was way too busy to do because I was always on the go, whereas now I kind of get to appreciate it. So I have found some blessings in this. To those that are still trying to understand, the best way to understand is to ask the person. Again, it's not about, because everything is so different for each individual person. Definitely ask the person about themselves. Ask them how they can help. Ask them what they can gain understanding of that person and their perspective. It's just as scary on this, and we don't know it all. I had to explain to a girlfriend yesterday. She's a dancer, and I said to her, when you're a dancer, you spend months learning the steps before you have the recital. I said, I have to completely learn everything all over again.
Right now, I'm kind of anticipating learning to write all over again.
I'm trying to figure out, like, there's, and the thing about it is it might not be able to write. We may have to use speaking tools. We may have to use technology.
Like, I've been typing a lot.
Lucky for you, I can't type. I was lucky. I'm lucky I gave you a 5.5. We're trying.
Can I say something to you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Since you're still dealing or getting the hang of it,
go for it.
Knowing the kind of person that Khalilah is, she's always on the go, loves to do things on her own. She don't know how to say no.
I'm learning. I've learned.
But that brings me to my next thing. I want you personally to learn to say no and be okay with it.
I'm getting to that place.
Yeah.
I'm really at that point.
Yeah, I have to do that sometimes too.
But I also try to reschedule, do something.
Yeah, definitely.
I've learned to
space things out.
Reduce my days where I'm only doing 2 or 3 things.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I'm learning to relax, put myself in places that allow me to relax a lot more because I need to have that.
Yeah.
She says, hi ladies, and I'm so touched by your strength. Meryl, I'm not strong. I'm not, like, I'm really
See, okay, so I say that too, but if you really analyze it, we are strong.
And I think I'm going to say this.
Because there's a lot of people out there that couldn't deal with what we deal with.
If you get out of bed and you have some kind of chronic illness, the fact that you got out of bed, I don't care if you even managed to brush your teeth, comb your hair.
It says a lot.
I just want to let you know that you are strong as well. And because we all live different lives, that strength may look like something different to each of us, but we all have it. let us not right now compare.
Yeah.
The one thing that I'm finding, which is the worst thing that I could possibly do for myself right now, is compare myself to somebody else.
True.
I am learning so much about how I have to be separate. So get up in the morning and love yourself. And if nobody else is going to say something positive to you,
Tell yourself something.
tell yourself something positive. And some days, get up and actually just do, like, as much as I look like this right now, this is not what I look like every day. I got up like this because I'm doing the show right now. There are certain days where maybe you get up and you just
Sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on.
and some days you just put on a heel, make yourself feel good, go to the salon, do your nails. These are actually things that I do just to help make me feel good.
It's so funny. That's why I do my nails too. On fleek, girl.
Yes.
But yeah, and it's funny. My dad hates me getting my nails done, especially when I do like bright colors. But it just makes me feel good, you know? Yeah.
Find things that make you feel good.
Yeah.
Find community programs, because fibromyalgia, lupus, chronic pain, invisible disabilities are now actually becoming so well known, so worldwide known that people are putting programs out there.
Yeah.
There's even disability conventions that go on around the world. So whether you're remote or in somewhere urban or somewhere city, see what's out there to support you. It does help when you've got like-minded people, and I just want to say thank you so much. Auntie Carol soon comes.
Yeah, to make some pudding. So she's definitely to bring that home with me.
Look at that. See, I did a show and now I get pudding. My name is Khalilah, and I have a program called My Life is a Testimony, where I try to go out and I speak to youth and young adults and people of all ages to be real about their life. Beside me is the lovely Miss Sheriffa who fights every single day just to bring a smile onto other people. Like, one of the things that you didn't know is, as much as she may not have a job 9 to 5, she does do the driving for people that have appointments, doctor's appointments, and things like that. And we just want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing the last hour and a half with us. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. If you ever want either one of us to come out and speak somewhere, or if you would like to connect with us and ask more questions, you are more than welcome to direct message either one of us. But we want to say thank you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the blessings. And one of the things that I like to say is that as much as my life is a testimony, so is yours.
Yep.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.